Hi everyone, this is Sylvia. I will be demonstrating the site Quizlet for you. It's a great site for students and teachers alike to make study sets and then convert them into quizzes, flashcards, or games. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can access the site in several languages, but I'll be accessing this in English. I'm going to scroll back up to the site. The site does have a subscription package for teachers. It costs like $35 a year. It's great if you want to thoroughly track your students' progress, but I'm only using the free access, which still gives you a lot and is also great for the students. So I'm going to log in. I already have an account under Facebook, and this will take you to this page, which will be the user page for you. I have on the sidebar right here, it shows your study sets, it shows your classes, so you can create a class depending on which content area you're teaching. I will be a secondary teacher, so I will be teaching English. I created here some generic English classes. I'm going to create a class so I can show you. So I'm going to click create a class, and I'm going to put in 8th grade because that is the grade I want to focus on. So I'm going to put an 8th grade English class, and I'm going to put in Shakespeare because we're going to be reading Shakespeare plays, especially comedies, and we're going to be focusing on the vocab in those comedies, which is important for some ELL students who, especially since it's pure language, I don't know, I'm just creating an example. So I'm going to go into Portland State University because I'm not exactly teaching, and then I'm going to hit create a class. And then now I need some study sets for my students, so I'm going to add a study set. Now once you click on that button, there's this button, create a new set. This is really cool because then you can say you're reading the play Much Ado About Nothing, or I am reading the play with my class Much Ado About Nothing. And then you can enter all your terms and then all your definitions, and then you can create. But for time saving purposes, we're going to go to search. And when you go into search, it's really cool because other teachers will have created other study sets that you can access and even your students can access. So I'm going to put Much Ado About Nothing, and I'm going to put vocab because that is what I'm interested in. And then we hit enter. And then we got Much Ado About Nothing of vocabulary. And I'm going to scroll down and look for some. I'm looking for one with pictures because I like images and that appeals to a lot of different students' needs. So I'm clicking on this, and this is made by some teacher, and you can scroll down and look through the terms and the definitions, and I like this because it has the images. And then you have some examples. You can copy this when you copy it, and it goes to this page once you copy it, and you can say visible to everyone, only editable by me, and then you hit create, and then you can say add to class folder, and then hit 8th grade English class, and once you hit the plus sign and it goes to minus, it's been added to that folder. So I'm going to hit Quizlet because this will take me back to my user page, and then we'll go to 8th grade English class under your classes. Sorry, I made a couple examples. And then there's the Much Ado About Nothing vocab. So if you want your students to access this, you can upgrade to the subscription package, and you can input all their emails, and that's how you can track their progress. Or in the free access, you can just copy this link and email it to all your students. So I'm going to go back to sets because I want to show you what you can do once you add this vocabulary option to your study set. So I'm going to click back on this again, and then it's going to open it up to this page. And this is what the student will also see on top of you, and they can choose several options when it comes to studying the terms and the definitions of the Much Ado About Nothing vocabulary terms. If you hit flashcards, for example, and I have set this up, if you go into options, and you can show both the terms, or you can just show the definitions or the terms. So I picked both because I am, for example, a student. I'm not familiar with them, so I want to go through this. And then I'm going to close that out. And then you can scroll through, and it'll show you all the terms and the definitions. And if play, I'll just play it for you. And if you go back to options, you can just do term. And then I'll flip over to show you the definition. So that's pretty cool. And now I'm going to go back. I'll take you back to that screen. And then I'm going to choose test. And I would not choose test to test my students, but it would be a really cool option if they wanted to test themselves. And the test gives them three different options, three different sections, and then you have the written questions, which shows you the terms, and then they want you to put in the definition, because this is a vocabulary test. And then there's one where you match up the sequences of the terms and the definitions. There's also multiple choice questions, and then there's true or false questions. And again, this is really cool because the images, if they were looking at the flashcards, they can go to the test and they can, make some sort of mental memory about it. And then it'll check your answers. And because I didn't fill this out, it says the percentage rate is 0. But, you can take the quiz multiple times, and they will show you each of their progress. And then this is a cool one. It's a match game, and it does your time. And this is where you drag the terms over to the definitions. But like again, I'm just showing you for an example. And it'll keep doing this until you get one right. But when you do get one right, it will disappear from the screen. For example, just right there. And then once they're all disappeared from the screen, it will show you how much time it took you to do that. And then once you get more familiar with it, you'll take less time. So this is a cool game. There's also another game called Gravity. And so the student can click on that. And then you hit Get Started. And then you can choose your range of difficulty. I'm going to choose Easy. And then let's go. Start game. This is where the terms or definitions will fall down in these asteroid-like cubes, and then you have to type in the answer. I'm not going to show you. I just want to show you what happens if you don't know the answer. So this is going to fall. And then once you don't, it'll show you what the correct answer was. So, and then that will keep going, and then you'll know your score once the game is over. But then you can always restart the game too. So I'm going to go back. And then it also will show you, when to play these games, the often missed results that you have. And then you can also go and restudy these if you want. There are certain terms. So you can star the terms, for example, that you're having more struggle with. And then you can focus those in the flashcards that you want to restudy, for example. But, like, again, I'm not going through these very much. But there's that term that we starred, and it showed up really fast because that was one we were struggling with. And that's based on all of the students' choices. I would say this is a great site for students to track themselves. And then you can also track their progress. And it's a great way for them to also be familiar with technology and also be connected with the content that they're learning. So that was just a little bit of an example of how you can use much ado about nothing vocabulary term in the Quizlet. But students can access a range of different things they want to study, whether it be math. They would just write this in the search engine, or you as the teacher, and it will come up with so many different study sets that they can access and learn. And then if they, for example, chose this study set of math, they could create a folder for themselves and say like math, create folder. And then they can add the set, and then they can have their own personal study sets, such as like when you go over here on the left side, it says your study sets, and then these, and you go down, I have my own folders like this when I was studying for the entrance exam. Anyways, when it comes to 8th grade, this covers a lot of things on the ELP. They can construct meaning from oral presentations and literary and informational text through grade appropriate listening, reading, and reviewing. The site has options for them to listen to the words of the terms and definitions they may be learning about the Shakespeare vocab. Also, they can conduct research and evaluate community findings to answer questions or solve problems. I mean, through the site, it'll address a lot of levels concerning the amount of information they can gather and research on their own. And then also they can record their data and information from the previous tests and games that they have done on the site. They can also analyze and critique the arguments of others orally and in writing. So by studying the vocab terms, they can, identify what William Shakespeare is arguing in this place. They can adapt language choices to purpose, task, and audience when speaking and writing. They can recognize the meaning of some words learned through conversations, reading, being read to. So by learning the vocabulary terms on the site, for example, they can understand the meaning because there have many options to study the definitions and the terms through the study sets that you are providing them. I mean, these are some standards that covers through the grade 8, and this is for the ELA standards and the ELP. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And there's a lot more you can do with the site, but I want to keep it within the time frame, and I've already gone over that. So I hope this was helpful and interesting. Explore it and use it for yourself or use it for your students. It's a great site to access. Thank you.